My key to success for you or for anybody else is make sure you're the first one in there every day and the last one to leave. Don't ever take a lunch break or go to the bathroom. You keep working. You never know when that opportunity is going to come along.
When you weigh a job offer, my message to you is, even later in life, when you're considering a career change, leave salary out of the equation.
Successful people look to the future, and unsuccessful people look to the back, look behind them. I'm not smarter than anybody else, but I can outwork you. And my key to success for you or for anybody else is make sure you're the first one in there every day and the last one to leave. Don't ever take a lunch break or go to the bathroom. You keep working. You never know when that opportunity is going to come along. And at Solomon Brothers, the managing partner of the company, Bill Solomon, was the second person in. I was the only other one in the big trading room. So if he needed to borrow a match, in those days people smoked cigars, and if he wanted to ask something about a newspaper or a stock, he came over, and so we became buddies. I would never have gotten to talk to the managing partner of a big company on a first-name basis if it wasn't for the fact that the two of us there. Billy, I'm getting coffee. Would you like some? Yeah, I can bring you in. And at the end of the day, the number two guy, John Goodfriend, he was the last one to leave, except for me. And we'd share a cab going uptown or take the subway train going uptown together. And, you know, every opportunity I ever had, it was, I think, a lot of them was because I was there at the time. And that's the one thing you can control. You can't control your luck, but the harder you work, the luckier you get. You can't control that you're the smartest guy. There'll always be somebody smarter. But if you're there, then you absorb things, you put things together in ways that if you didn't have all that experience, it's like skiing. I've said, reading a book on skiing doesn't teach you how to ski. Yeah. You got to go and you got to ski and get lots of miles under your skis. And incidentally, if you don't fall, you're not skiing hard enough and you're not learning anything. So if your career has ups and downs, I got fired, didn't turn out so bad. But, you know, you can start a little business and maybe it doesn't work. And after a while, you got to be smart enough to say, hey, I tried it. Don't let your ego get in the way. I can't keep doing this. I've got to earn a living. But, you know, a year from now, I'm going to come up with a better idea and then I'll go back and do it again.
When you weigh a job offer, my message to you is, even later in life, when you're considering a career change, leave salary out of the equation. Make decisions based on the quality of the opportunity and where you will have the most fun and the most room for growth. What's important for your career is not your starting salary. It's your development and happiness, and the cash will come later on. In the past, you could make a decision, had some time to work it out, fix it, change it, build a constituency, demonstrate your wisdom. And today we want instant gratification. You've got to know, is it going to work? And then we've got 10,000 emails 20 seconds later so that it's not working. It's like complaining about, I have an iPhone 6. And iPhone is just an amazing device. And people are complaining if you sit on it, it bends. Now, if I took a Mac computer and threw it out of a 5-story window, it would break. Okay, so what? I mean, we don't have any tolerance. Everybody's a talking head. Everybody's got an idea. And one of the problems in life is sort of sorting out what is realistic, what is real, what is factual, what is put in context. And social media isn't designed to do that. Social media is designed to let everybody talk to everybody all the time. And to me, that means you have to have the old values. We don't have to teach our kids to code as much as we have to teach them to read, to write, to do arithmetic, to understand that numbers are just another language and how to speak that language, that you're going to have to work collaboratively and collectively, and you're not going to turn this all over to technology. And if you do, nobody's going to have a job.
The advice I can give to all of you is if you have a dream, you just got to go for it. Now, there's a point at which you have to say, enough, it's not working, let's go on to the next thing. But I'd stretch it out before I got to that point, because a lot of times, just before you turn that last corner is the time that you really get depressed. And just think of what would happen if you hadn't gone around that corner. There's never been a day that I haven't looked forward to going into work. Even the days I knew I was going to get beaten up, even the day I knew I was going to get fired. I'd never been fired before. I wonder what it's like. Okay, let's go find out.
Yeah.
And I've never looked back. I find it fascinating. People spend, and we're doing this in this country, we're spending all our time trying to blame people and figure out why we got to where we are now, rather than focusing on how you get out of where we are now and make it better. And successful people look to the future, and unsuccessful people look to the back, look behind them. Next time you're in a meeting and you're trying to express something to somebody and they under the desk have their phone going back and forth.
Don't you hate that?
Yes, and I've said sometimes, stop it. If you want me in the meeting, I'm sorry. What am I wasting my time here for? But I think Evan's analogy to meal is fine. If you could take a pill instead of having to eat a meal and get all the nourishment you needed, life would be very different, and I'm not sure it's better. A meal is not about food, mostly. It is about communications and spending time together and feeling each other out, and if it's a business or a personal thing. And so technology is great. I'm not opposed to it at all. I just think you have to use it appropriately, and I think Evan said it very well. You shouldn't blame the technology. What we should do is blame each other. If in the middle of the conversation you're tweeting, there's something wrong. I'm not saying anything interesting. And
how could that be?
I can't.
Many of you will tell me that, will tell you that you're crazy. You have to be a little crazy to invest the amount of time and energy that it takes to start a new business. You have to put in long hours and give weekends up, no more time with the family. You have to take financial risks. But building something from the ground up really is one of the most rewarding things that you can ever do. And every day it's an opportunity to experiment, and every day it's an opportunity to try new things.
When you give money, how do you measure success?
Well, number one, not everything's going to work quickly, so you have to have some patience. Number two, if you do something in the scientific world and it turns out to be a failure, that in some sense is a success, because you don't have to go down that path again. Unfortunately, in the world I came from, you're labeled a failure and you've wasted your money. Right.
Yep.
That's not the case the way science works. And so knowing what you're doing, measuring it, and there are a lot of people around who are trying to apply metrics. In some cases you can, in some cases you just have to do it on faith. Mm-hmm. I know down the road this is going to help, and I'm willing to make that bet. And then wait a little while, give it the old college try. If it doesn't work, don't be stubborn, but don't walk away from it too quickly either. There's been studies done showing that the number of emails or tweets that people pass back and forth have not had any impact on the number of phone calls in the business world. In the private sector, it has. Kids tweet or use Snapchat or Facebook or to communicate, where they used to do it face-to-face. Whether people are better off because of that, I'm a little bit skeptical. I still think we're human beings, and we live in an analog world, not a digital world. And just, you can't put everything down to numbers. Human beings don't work that way. When you and I have a conversation, I read something into your body language, the tone of your voice, the wink. It's not the same thing. Meeting at the water cooler cannot be replaced by working at home. You still have to have interpersonal relations.